All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to Restaurant Food Fast. We're going to change a little bit today. Normally we do things that are really quick. We'll do half hour to 15 minutes. We're going to show you how to do what would be specials or things that a restaurant would always have on hand that are pre-cooked. We're going to do stuffed peppers, hot peppers. So these are banana peppers, or they call them Hungarian hot peppers. We're going to stuff these with a ground meat mixture. The prep time is really quick, but then you throw them in the oven for an hour and then they're done. It's a real nice, real easy thing to do beforehand. Before we get into that, I want to get into a couple things. If you watched the last show and you stuck around to the end of the show, I got rickrolled, which means you got rickrolled. I think that needs to be banned. I think that's my editor's way of getting back at me for getting him in hot water with his wife. All right, anyway, let's get into the show here. We're going to do the stuffed hot peppers. Like I say, it's real easy. I've got about, I'd guess, 2 pounds of ground meat here, thawed. Lots of spices are going to go into this one. Some rice, we'll go through it. Basically, I want the filling to be able to stand up to the taste of the pepper. The peppers can be hot. These are one of those, sometimes you can just take these and eat them, and other times they've got some heat to them, so you really don't know unless you taste each one. But I want the filling to be able to stand up to the taste of the pepper. I don't want it to get washed out. So I'm going to season this fairly heavily. And I'm also going to add cheese to it. This is a little chunk of Asiago I have left. These are real close to, what are they called, rollers, except these aren't grilled. These are just stuffed, baked in the oven. And I guess that's pretty much the precursor we need. We're just going to start doing it. So like I say, you got your ground meat. I'm going to season it kind of heavy with cumin, which again is the smell you get from chili powder. So I'm going to fire a bunch of this in here. I'm looking at probably 1.5 teaspoons or more. Sage, just because I put sage in every stuffing I can think of. Sausage, anything like that. Since I went with the cumin and these are peppers, I'm going to do a little bit of cilantro, give it a little bit of south of the border appeal to it, hopefully. Red pepper flakes. And I'm also going to hit it with ground cayenne. Not a whole lot of this. I don't want the stuffing to be hotter than the pepper, but just enough to give it a little juice to it. Sea salt. Quite a bit of sea salt. Now these are things that would happen in a restaurant. This would all be prepped. So when you would come in the morning before the restaurant opens, you would check, see how many of these you had. If this is something you had on your menu, you would make these on a regular basis. You would just make big pans of them. And come service time, all you do is pull them out, put them into a monkey dish, and throw them in the broiler to get them cooked through. They're already be pre-cooked. You just want to heat them up. But this is the other half of the restaurant stuff that you get that actually does take a while to cook. But if you do it ahead of time, if it's something you have on hand, or you know you're going to have a party, black pepper, you can cook these up ahead of time, and you're good to go. I also don't want too much black pepper in there. That's probably 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon. So yeah, back to being rickrolled. Who is this worse on? I'd say 2 heaping tablespoons of garlic. Trying to figure out if this is being rickrolled like it was, is that worse on me or worse on you? I'm the fool who, while we were doing something else, decided to goof around and do some semblance of a dance. Realizing it was going to be put into the show, I knew it was going to. Did not think he was going to rickroll it. So is it worse that I'm the one dancing to it, or is it worse that you guys watched it? I haven't quite figured that one out yet. Basically with the cheese, like I say, this is Asiago. I'm going to break it down into little chunks, little cubes, and eat this part. I have a dog wandering around, so that if you can hear the clicking, it's the wife's little dust mop. She has a Shih Tzu. Strange dogs. So as you can see, I got these into just little chunks, nothing major. I'm not being real uniform with it. I just want them to melt down into the stuffing when it starts going. I may not even use all of them, depends how it mixes through. And rice. How much rice? I have no clue. I guess that's about a quarter cup, half cup, 3/4. We'll say about a cup of rice. About a cup. And it's just the consistency that I'm looking for. I don't know how much I'm putting in until I see how much filler I think is going to be there. You don't, as you can see, that was uncooked rice. You don't have to cook it. It will cook as you put it in the oven. You can use cooked rice if you have it. It's not going to change it too much. I think this is exactly what I'm looking for. Try and get this stuff up off the bottom. I think that's good. Now, as far as the cheese goes and the rice goes, you don't have to add the rice. You don't have to put any filler in it you want or don't want. It's just up to you. This is what I decided to do today. I think there's enough rice in it. I think that should work just fine. All the spices are through it. Now we let this sit for a minute while we do the peppers. Throw me a paper towel. Jackass. Thanks. Okay, as far as peppers go, they're real easy to do. I don't get real fussy with them in wanting to keep them whole or anything like that. It's easy use for me. So basically when I take it, I just cut the top off, slice it down the side, open it up, take the inside out. That's it. And you do these to all the peppers you have. Trick with these, like I said, you do not know how hot they are. Like I said, they can be very mild, like a normal green pepper, or they can have a little heat to them. Best case scenario is, if you have a cut on your hand, which you should do anyway when you're cooking, wear gloves. Do not scratch your eyes. Do not do anything that you don't want that hot pepper oil to get on you with. I've seen it happen. It's not pleasant. People running and screaming because their eyes feel like they're burning out of their sockets because you've put your finger to it. No, that wasn't me, but one of our prep people had done that. I was lucky enough not to have that happen. There's another story that goes with that one, but I'm not sure I'm going to relay that on camera. But that's pretty much it for the peppers. These are real easy to pull out. I'm not worried too much about all of the ribs on the inside. I just want to make sure I get the bulk of the seeds out. Seeds have a lot of the heat. They're also not very palatable. Start crinkling over. Not something you want to do. Just not tasty. I also like to plug a website here. Gentleman was nice enough to critique our show for us. Jeff McPherson, who does he was nice enough to take a look at our show and give us some production tips and stuff since he's been doing it for a while. Really appreciate that. But yeah, if you want a lighter moment, go take a look at that. Some of that stuff is just, oh man, has me rolling. So, okay, all our peppers are prepped. We've got the meat. I am basically just going to use watered down spaghetti sauce. And I got a couple casserole dishes. So, all I do is just take a little bit of the sauce on the bottom of each of the casserole dishes. And then we start stuffing the peppers. It's real easy. Just take a handful, jam it. I usually slide it down in so I make sure I get some of the stuffing all the way into the bottom. And that's it. Now, if you want to be nice and neat about these, you cannot take and cut the side. And it's going to be real, the pepper will be closed and you can actually put the cap back on it and do all kinds of stuff. I don't go through all that. I kind of like, I like the people to be able to see what's in it. I like them to be able to, I don't know, to me just a nicer presentation. And then all you do is line them up on the casserole dish. And this is what you would be doing all morning if this is one of your prep schedules at a restaurant. You just make a great big batch of this. You'd have huge hotel pans, fill it all up, fire it in the oven, and as lunch is going, these things are cooking. You can't overfill these, you can't underfill them. It's all on what your desire is. Doesn't have to be meat stuffing. You can make it, cheese and corn. You can make it more Mexican. This is a traditional, more of an Italian way. I just changed the spices a little bit. And that's pretty much it. You just keep jamming them in there, firing them in. Line them up. I'm also going to do some regular green peppers with this stuffing, just because I have the stuffing in the room. Some of these got frozen. My refrigerator's kind of going on the fritz. It seems like all my appliances are going on the fritz, which I'm sure you just want to know. But my washing machine ate my clothes. I have one of those front loaders. Yeah, it locked. It won't unlock. It has my clothes in it. So it's holding it ransom, and it's not told me what it wants before I can get them out. So I'm not real pleased about that. I have to go on a business trip to Houston this week, and it has all my clothes. And my refrigerator decided freezes everything. So, of course, everything is just out of warranty, so none of this stuff will be fixed without me having to go out and spend a buttload of money. The sounds of silence. This is the part that makes me nervous, because when we have dead time, I have no idea what these jugheads who do the editing on this show are going to put in there. That's what happens when you've got geeks who work the back end of the camera. They don't like the front end. They won't even talk. They won't say a thing. They just think it's funny to do things. So if you can kind of imagine doing these by the hotel pan, which are pans the size of this table, and you're just doing bushels of these. And normally you'd get like 2 of these on an appetizer plate. It's actually quite a bit when you think about it, because this is, I mean, you're talking about a good quarter to a half pound of appetizer. Ta-da. Now I'm going to take a couple one regular bell pepper, because these are huge. I'm not going to do it normally. I'm going to take these in half because of the depth. If I had a deeper pan, I'd do them top off. But for these, I'm just going to do sideways. That's pretty much it. Really easy, really simple things to do. So I'm going to get my oven cranked up here. I'm going to put this on about 400. And to finish, the sauce will burn if it's just straight sauce. What I'm going to do is cover these with a little bit more sauce. Now I'm going to spice this up. So grab these towels that would pop the spice with oil. And I'm going to adjust this to match the chilies. I'm going to put some cummin. Come on out. Good. A little bit of rub sage. And some cilantro. So when it comes to sauces, whatever you like. If you like sweet sauce, use that. If you like standard, I kind of like good old traditional ragu. It's good savory base sauce. It's not sweet. It changes to whatever you want it to once you start fighting with it. I'm going to add some water to it. So I guess I had about a half of the sauce left. Put water to it. Your spices, shake it up. Now you got a very watery sauce, but what's going to happen is you have this in here boiling. it's going to cook down. So I'm just going to fill up the remainder of these casserole dishes with the sauce. There you go. It doesn't always work out perfect, where you have the right amount of sauce to whatever you're cooking. Habit, experience, time doing it, all of those things. But that's pretty much what you're looking for. At this point, you're looking, this is more like a braise. Romano, Parmesan cheese, dust it over top, put it on broil, let that crust up. But for now, I'm just going to fire these in here. The other thing that I never do, I never wait for the oven to be preheated. I don't see the need. I'm not looking for a very specific temperature. I'm just looking for the ground meat to be cooked. So it doesn't matter to me if I put it in now and it goes up. I don't have to wait for it. Unless you were baking a cake, something that has to be very, very temperature specific, there's no need to wait around. Now you typically can lid these. There's a couple ways to do that. You just, of course, put a lid on it, wrap it in tin foil, do all those things you want to do, or you can take a cookie sheet, turn it over on top. It just keeps that steam in there. I'm going to let these crank up without the top on it first, and then I'll put a cookie sheet on it in a little bit. But other than that, that's the prep for these. Put them in for about an hour. They're done. That's all. It's very, very simple, very easy to do. And we're going to go rifle around on that dancing. And we will be back in, I guess, about an hour, and I'll show you what these things look like when they come out. All right, everybody, through the magic of cameras, our peppers are now finished. It's been about an hour since we put them in the oven, and they're ready to plate. So I'm going to show you how I would typically serve these. I wish that you could smell what it smells like in here. Turn this off. Whew. Burn face with steam. Wonderful. They smell so good. I'm going to keep one of the mitts on just because this thing is 400 degrees. So I'm going to scooch it up. I need to take one of these, lay it that way. Like that, as I just ruined the tablecloth and my mitt. Take some of the sauce on top. Now I'm done with that. I'm just going to finish with a little bit of grated cheese. And some cilantro. Get this thing off of my table. There you have it. Stuffed banana peppers. Like I say, really, really easy. Give it a shot sometime. It's just, the cook time is 4 times longer than it is to prep it. Particularly if you have a party, you can do these. They're great reheated. Set them up the day before. Let them macerate. Reheat them in the oven. Serve them as full meals, appetizers. That's plenty. Put it with a starch. You've got a full meal there. And again, all those recipes you can change however you like it. This one has more of a southern feel to it because of the cumin and cilantro. You can make these fennel. You can take sausage, bulk sausage, and use that instead of ground meat. Basically, however you want to stuff them. Nice, quick, easy recipe to do. I hope you enjoy it. We're going to start getting into a little more of the long cook stuff, and we'll see how it goes from there. But there you go. You have your stuffed peppers, and like I say, if you want to get hold of us, restaurantfoodfast@gmail.com. And until the next time we see you, go out there, cook something fun.